We're back! That's right, guys, we are back. I'm so excited to be back. Welcome back to Vendor Ridealong. Where have we been? It's been since October. Well, we had to go on a little bit of a hiatus. Life got a little bit topsy-turvy there for me. Everything is back to normal. Everything is great. And we're back to showing the Central New York bridal market the best that they can absolutely offer in so many facets of the wedding industry. My name is Jason. I'm a local DJ. My company's Salt City Sound Machine. Like I said, mobile DJ services. Today, we're taking the trip to Baldwinsville. We're going to be talking to Carl Naples, who is the grand poobah, the manager, the coordinator, whatever you want to call it, at the Kallet Theater in Pulaski, New York. He's also the owner of Syracuse Weddings. He's going to be talking a little bit about what it's like to run a venue, also his background as a fellow DJ and how that relates to running a venue. So you guys might get a lot of really good advice about what to look for in a venue, also what to look for in a DJ. This guy knows his stuff. He's been there for a long time. He's been out in the business for a long time. He's a wealth of knowledge. You guys should really check this one out. So without any further ado, this is Vendor Ridealong. This is Carl Naples. Thanks for watching. So for social media purposes, I got the best hashtag for our ride.
What is it?
Show me your Naples. Welcome to Vendor Ridealong, everybody. I am here with Carl Naples. He's one of I'd say probably one of the best wedding masterminds of the Syracuse and Central New York area. Owner of Syracuse Weddings, and he's the grand poobah at the Kallet Theater in Pulaski, New York, making the jump from primarily being a DJ to being the what's the exact title that you have?
I don't even know what they want to call me.
Okay.
It's right now they just summed it up as manager, and that's good enough for me.
So what's it like going from primarily being a DJ, entertainer, however you want to, label it, to being the grand person at a venue?
It's a mind job. It's a mind job. The allure was the fact that I get to learn about the other side. It's the only thing I haven't done in relation to venues and events, and I wanted to know more, and it kind of fell in my lap, and I was foolish to say no, so I didn't.
Now, what would you say that gives the Kallet an advantage over other local venues?
It's not owned by a person, it's owned by a corporation, which gives it the funding that it needs to be able to do what I would want to have it be in order to be something that's not just another venue.
Okay.
And because of that, the people who own it have a strong interest in the community and making it something unique, so they're not looking to compete, they're not looking to brag. They just want it to be something that's available for that part of the state that's not around for anywhere within a half hour. And the fact that they're a blank slate, they gave me the autonomy to try and shape it into something, lets me be creative, and that's what I love about it.
And how's that going so far, shaping it?
Crazy. It's trying to transform what's there and to make it into something that's more wedding-y is a challenge, but I like it.
I've only done a wedding there once. It was in May. It was a fantastic wedding. I can honestly say that I was very impressed with not only the space, but the way that you handled everything and the professionalism that you showed throughout the course of the day. And the fact that it is a blank slate.
And the owners, they'll let you do whatever you want with the space. And if you've ever gotten married, then then when you book a place, there's a lot of restrictions. There's a lot of things you can't do.
Yes.
And no bride or groom wants to go in with their hands tied behind their back. So
I think one of the coolest options that you do have at the Kallet is the fact that it used to be a working movie theater. The fact that you can make your grand entrance on stage with an old school pull rope curtain,
yeah,
the way it kind of should be, is so cool.
There's 3 separate entrances to that stage behind the curtain, so literally the bride and groom can arrive and leave their reception without anyone knowing.
That's so awesome.
And you can get married on the patio with literally yourself, your officiant, your fiance and just a cameraman, and we can televise it into the theater streaming so that everybody can literally bring their invitation, take their ticket, go sit down and watch the ceremony live, which things like that I just think are really, really nice new ones.
Well, coming from a DJ's perspective, how did that prepare you to do what you currently do?
That's a big question. Being able to experiment with all the technology that's out there at different venues, so that we know different situations, and we know that sometimes it might be a great idea one place, but that same idea might be a bad idea somewhere else. The fact that admitting to yourself that you can't know everything is pretty humbling, and it's also essential to learn what you can do. So being a DJ has helped tremendously. It's helped me resolve technical issues in the moment that normally you'd have to call a professional in the moment to do, and you'd never be able to salvage it in time to rescue a wedding, if you will. It's one of the only wedding industry related professions where we all are also multifaceted. So even if we're doing just sound, most of the time a DJ is a performer, but we're also called upon to be a sound technician, a troubleshooter.
I'm sure running a venue, I couldn't imagine. I mean,
I can't imagine.
Everything out there on the table, I also applied for this job, and I was interviewed for this job, and
which I found this out as I was working with them.
Yes. I can't imagine the amount of difficulties that go alongside running a venue, but what would you say are some of the most primary difficulties you have?
Things that are just plain beyond everyone's control, okay. And yet it's still your responsibility to navigate. You like movies, I'll make a Fight Club reference. Okay. One of my favorite things, and some people have heard me say this probably too many times, and if they're watching this, you know who you are. There's a scene in Fight Club where Brad Pitt says, I'm going to give you a homework assignment. You're all going to go out, you're going to pick a fight with a complete stranger, and you're going to lose. Mm-hmm. That's what it's like to run a venue. You are going to be the bad guy, and you are going to lose the fight.
Keep spraying the priest with the hose.
Yep, that's the part. I love it, and it's true, and literally, it's your fault, and it's your responsibility. You didn't cause the problem, but you're the only one that's in the position to fix it, and sometimes not even then. Okay. So there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes at every wedding. If someone tells you it's not, they're lying to you, and the difference between whether you have professionals or not isn't whether things go wrong. It's the fact that most of the time, if they're doing their job and you've hired the right people, you'll never know about it.
Right.
And so keeping yourself composed is probably the biggest thing, because you've got to be smiling, you've got to be working, you've got to be doing everything figuratively on stage the entire time that's going on before people show up, right until the last person leaves.
I mean, if we're talking about Central New York, obviously the hub of Central New York is Syracuse. Pulaski is at the very, very, very least 45 minutes away.
Yep.
More like an hour with traffic, or if you don't drive nearly as quickly as I do. So how do you get people out to Pulaski?
Well, that's one of the challenges we're trying to overcome. Syracuse being the middle of the state, obviously a little bit more attractive because it's a hub. But Watertown is just as much of a viable market because you have the Fort Drum.
Okay.
And so there's I think to be too concerned about any one market to pull from would be a mistake.
Okay.
It's a question of finding the people who want to get married someplace different in the state.
Okay.
So I don't want to put myself in that position where the Kallet is an unreachable venue. In fact, neither does the ownership. They want to be community affordable.
Right.
But we also want people who want to invest in their wedding day as if it's an experience, not just a place to get married.
Sometimes I've realized, though, just kind of in my own travels, that sort of these small, independent, off the beaten path, you could do whatever you'd like to do sort of venues, kind of like the Kallet is. Yep. You can just get so much more bang for your buck. Not even in terms of customization, but in terms of professionalism. Yep. I mean, they're going to treat you like family.
You got people there who love their venue and love whatever they can do with their venue.
Sure.
And the pride factor that they take in that. I will tell you, the number one difference between a competent professional and an amazing professional has nothing to do with their skill set. It's how much they care. This is somebody else's house.
Yes.
And so you ask permission before you go in the fridge. It's a simple, obvious thought, but when we think of a venue, we don't think of it that way, and yet we kind of should. If there's a system in place, I try not to rock the boat. And now that I'm doing it from the other side, I can tell you I understand the value of having a way in place. But 20 years experience of dealing with it from the other end, I can tell you that being moldable and flexible is a big help, but you also have to be able to dig your heels into things that are very important.
going back to this is their house, anytime I get a one more song chant at the end, and it happens a lot, you
Sure.
get the one more song chant, I don't mind playing another song. I'll play another song. I don't care.
Sure.
But it's not my house.
Right.
It's not my electricity. It's not all of these things. I got to talk to the venue. So you sit tight. I'll talk to somebody from the venue. If they say it's cool, it's cool. If not, hey, guess what? That's not my deal.
Right.
So yeah, it's absolutely your house.
Planning that point where, okay, talking to the house where the client doesn't even have to know anything. We can talk to the house in their behalf and say, okay, if they want to go over 15 minutes, is there an issue?
Right.
If they decide, if they don't even want to, but I see that it's happening and I need to buy some time, is it all right? I can't imagine the average venue owner ever fighting that. It only makes everybody look better. It's not that you're taking up the space or the electricity, it's that they have staff that are waiting to be let go of and that can
Right.
clean up.
The only time I've been told no with that was, and they're both completely understandable reasons. The
Sure.
first one was because they were working with a staff who was union.
Sure.
You
That's
can't
big.
mess with that.
Nope, you're done.
You work with a staff that's union, they're done when they're done. Sorry, you're done. The second is usually it works with hotels when they have hard outs and they have we have a hard out at 10 o'clock. You
Yep.
can't play anything after 10 o'clock because, hey, guess what? We have other guests.
Right.
And if you're pounding music, you might be keeping them up. You might
Yep.
be detracting from their experience of staying in this hotel. So I totally
Absolutely.
understand that.
The truth is, there's enough business for everybody.
There really is.
And beyond that, too, I don't want someone hiring me because they need a DJ. I want someone hiring me because they like me. And the liking me isn't because somebody else is worse or cheaper. It's because they're comfortable. And therefore, it should be the sales meeting shouldn't be a sales meeting. It should be, hey, I'm Carl. Tell me about you.
Right.
And when you do that, the same thing applies at the Kallet. Before that, and I think for the same reason that you don't offer lighting, that's stuff. That's not you.
Well, I do. I mean, I offer dance floor lighting, but
Right.
a lot of the extraneous things, my contention with it is that things like uplighting, that's aesthetic based, and I believe that aesthetics should be left more so to the venue.
Sure.
I believe that price gouging is horrible, and it's an epidemic in our business. It just is.
I have found that that's actually false with the vast majority of people I know in this area.
Yes.
But it's not false across the board.
No.
There's a reason why people fear that and why it's a thought out there. And unfortunately, there are fly-by-night operations, opportunists, and con artists in every industry. In the wedding industry, it's even more prevalent because it's so easy to break into.
They're like roaches. If you can give advice to any bride that might be, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the Kallet. If you want to talk about the Kallet, you can. If you want to talk about Syracuse Weddings, you can. But if somebody says, what should I look for in a DJ and what should I look for in a venue, what would you say?
How long have we got?
No.
I'm going to trust your editing skills. So the honest answer to that,
Keeping that part in.
please do. Don't hire someone who's just competent, who's providing something. Hire someone who clicks with you, who wants to know who you are as a couple. In the modern culture of things, businesses are selling stuff. And that's the biggest challenge at a wedding, is that people are not buying stuff for a wedding. You are, as a client, you're buying centerpieces. That's stuff. But when you're hiring someone to set those centerpieces up for you, how do you gauge whether they're going to do what you want, style it the way you want? You're only going to be able to know that by how much they care. Just because I'll credit a man on Facebook, another DJ from Connecticut, who said McDonald's has served billions and billions, so shouldn't they be the best restaurant in the world?
That's true.
So how many bookings someone has, how many events they've done is no indicator. Become a good interviewer. And don't bring a list of questions. Don't read it in a bridal magazine. Ask questions that you want answers to, that are important to you, that are concerns of yours, and how they answer, not what they say. Are they rhetoric, or are they actually answering you? Eye contact. I know it sounds very simple, but it's not. A person who's very direct, who's not afraid of being on camera in real time giving answers, not knowing what those questions are going to be, being able to gauge a person's personality and gauging their honesty without having to triple check whether their references are good. Going with a person who's going to answer your phone call, respond to your emails, that is a more important indicator of what they're going to be like as a DJ, as a photographer, as a planner, than anything related to their craft.
Okay. Great advice. That's Carl, guys. That's why I wanted him on the show. The guy knows what he's talking about. So where can we find you and the Kallet and everything else online.
KalletTheater.com for the moment. We will have a new website launching for just weddings related within the next month. We just finished our virtual tour, which we had a photographer come in and literally take a 360-degree shot in every direction over every square foot of the facility. She'll be able to tour the facility without even having to go anywhere further than your phone.
Okay.
Syracuse Weddings, it's been here a while. I love it. It's been my pride and joy, but honestly, it's a nice step in evolution. I'm turning it over to another reliable pair of hands, and you can find him. His name is Paul Manzari. You can get a hold of him at syracusedreamweddings@gmail.com.
Social media for the Kallet.
Facebook.com/Kallet Theater, and you will also be able to do the same thing for Syracuse Weddings.
Phone-wise.
If you're a millennial, you can text me at 315-400-7672.
Love it.
And if you're prone to the old-fashioned way of doing things, call that same number.
Carl, thank you for taking the ride along.
This was great. Thanks so much, bud.
Absolutely. Hey, check him out. Go to the Kallet Theater. Check out what they have to offer. Go to Syracuse Weddings. See what they have to offer. Take it from me, your trusted host. As somebody who has DJ'd at the Kallet, it is absolutely everything that he says it is. It's a blank space. You can do what you want, and you will have the power of Carl there to help you completely along the way. Check it out if you're interested, and if you want to make the drive up to Pulaski, it's definitely worth it. Thank you again for taking the ride along, and we'll see you guys next time. Okay, guys, once again, that was Carl Naples of the Kallet Theater in Syracuse Weddings. Great interview. It is so good to be back in the car. I hope you guys take the ride along with me. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to subscribe to this channel so you can get Vendor Ridealong every time we shoot. I want you to find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram, all sorts of interesting things that Salt City Sound Machine is doing. And of course, even more important than Salt City Sound Machine, check Carl out at the Kallet Theater in Pulaski. Check out Syracuse Weddings. You know, the guy definitely knows his stuff. He was a fantastic interview. It was great to have him. In the meantime, guys, if there are any vendors out there who want to be on Vendor Ridealong, it is 100% free. I don't charge you guys. This is all about cross-promotion, and it's a way for brides to really get to know the vendors who are going to be taking care of them at their wedding here in Central New York. If you want to be on, hit me up with an email, info@scsoundmachine.com. That's info @scsoundmachine.com. We'll get you right on. We're going to have a lot of awesome guests coming up. We have a florist. We have another DJ who also owns a comic book shop. I'm going to be shooting it very, very, very soon. We have a videographer. We have a lot of great guests coming up. So hopefully this whole thing sticks. We'll get Central New York what they deserve in terms of the great variety of wedding professionals out there. In the meantime, guys, my name is Jason. We'll see you next time.